If anyone had suggested that Mercedes would be thinking of replacing Lewis Hamilton with Max Verstappen, they would have been laughed out of the park. However, this scenario feels very much on the cards now, especially in the aftermath of Hamilton's shocking decision to leave Mercedes for Ferrari next year. It was just 3 years ago that Max was enemy number 1 at Mercedes. Will it now transform into something that eclipses Lewis's move to Ferrari? Before we dive deeper into this story, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest Formula 1 drama and insights. Let's look at some facts. In May of 2022, Max signed what was until then an unheard of contract to stay with Red Bull until 2028. He quickly became their favourite driver and championship glory didn't take too long to follow. Red Bull have been loyal to Max since his formative years and he looked set to repay them back. So, what changed? Well, Max, like all racing drivers, is an ambitious person, and even though all of his impressive achievements have come under the Red Bull umbrella, he wants more, and the fact that there is a possibility that Red Bull may not be able to provide Max with what he needs gives Mercedes more than a sniff to lure him away. F1 is witness to the fact that whenever a driver has had to choose between ambition and loyalty, they have overwhelmingly sided with ambition. Red Bull's implosion over the last few months has been nothing short of spectacular. It all began with murmurs of a rift between team principal Christian Horner and Max's camp, consisting of his father Jos Verstappen and the team's advisor Helmut Marko during the pre-season break. Even though nothing major came of these rumours initially, the team was then rocked by allegations of misconduct against Homer by a female employee. A dark cloud hung over the Red Bull camp, and for the first time, Max and his contingent almost seemed ashamed to don the Red Bull livery. Even though Homer somehow managed to sidestep this controversy with an independent investigation clearing his name, it didn't help with the unease that had settled within the team. It seemed like the only thing that still kept him at Red Bull was the unequivocal fact that they still had the fastest car. However, that has also changed for the worse since the full-length race in Austria. From then on, Red Bull have struggled to even be the second best team, and if this trend continues for a few more races, Max will need very little persuasion to look for greener pastures. While the driver plays a big part in F1, he is nothing without the car, and that is where the rest of the team comes in. Red Bull have had a really talented team when it comes to the designers, engineers, pit crew, and even their social media managers. However, slowly but surely, they have been losing these talented folks to their rivals. It started with lesser known talents but quickly progressed to the top guns. The biggest blow came in the form of Adrian Newey, the most successful car designer in F1's history, announcing his retirement. While he hasn't been poached by a rival team yet, if rumours are to be believed, it is only a matter of time before he will return to the F1 paddock with another team. Even if that doesn't happen, the fact remains that Newey won't be designing any of the future Red Bull cars. In fact, he is no longer taking any active part in the current season, and guess what? Red Bull are already struggling. Things haven't improved since the Newey news, as sporting director Jonathan Wheatley is also set to leave next year, and he won't be the last. While personnel changes are nothing new in F1, the scale at which it is happening at Red Bull is unprecedented. It currently resembles a sinking ship, and the reasons for Max to hold on are reducing with each passing day. This one isn't as immediate as the other issues we have discussed so far, but a significant one once the regulations are overhauled in 2026. Red Bull's current engine supplier, Honda, pulled the old switcheroo by first announcing that they will be leaving the sport at the end of 2025, only to announce a partnership with Aston Martin instead of 2026 and beyond. This left Red Bull in a lurch, and they chose the most unexpected way out of it. They decided to build their own powertrain. Extremely ambitious would be a polite way of putting it. Downright foolhardy is a better way of describing it. Some of the biggest names in the automobile industry have tried to design engines for F1, and only a handful have actually tasted success. More importantly, no one has made a debut with a race-winning engine except for the inaugural season of F1 when everyone was on debut. Even if Red Bull somehow pull off the impossible and design a competent powertrain, it will take at least a few years to win on a regular basis. Is Max willing to waste a few years of his prime in the hopes that Red Bull will somehow figure out the Herculean task of building a race-winning engine seems highly unlikely. Ever since the current regulations came into effect at the start of 2022, Mercedes have been floundering. Their car wasn't quick enough, it was too draggy, and it bounced too much on the straights. They were at best the 4th or 5th fastest team on the grid for a majority of the last 2.5 years. However, Red Bull's downward spiral has coincided with a spirited return to form for the Silver Arrows. They have won 2 of the last 3 races and seem to be the team to beat at the moment. This is also one of the shortest turnarounds of any team that started a change in regulations on the back foot. This puts them in a good place for 2026. It is also worth remembering that Mercedes have deep pockets. For more than a decade, they have paid the exorbitant salary of Lewis Hamilton and will have no qualms in matching or exceeding whatever Red Bull are currently paying Max. Even if Mercedes failed to build Max a winning car in 2026, he can rest easy with a huge payday while also knowing that Mercedes have the best track record of turning things around. Then there is the small matter of personal pride. Statistically, Lewis Hamilton is the most successful driver in F1 history. However, there is one stat missing from his list of accomplishments. All his wins have come under the Mercedes umbrella, both with the Mercedes-powered McLaren and later with Mercedes Works team. His move to Ferrari could be motivated in an effort to change this. Similarly, Max has forever been associated with the Red Bull name. To truly enter the conversation of the GOATs, he needs to win with a different faction, and Mercedes presents him with a juicy proposition. While most teams on the grid would be happy to have Max as their driver, Mercedes have an extra incentive to do so. He may have been a hated rival in the past, but Lewis left Mercedes high and dry by signing with Ferrari out of the blue. Giving his seat to Max would be the perfect payback. Additionally, Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has made no secret of his admiration for Max ever since Hamilton confirmed his exit. It may be a cliche, but it is still very apt for F1. The only true constant is change. Time and again, it has been shown that contracts and agreements mean nothing, and under the right circumstances, events that were once considered impossible became the reality. Max joining Mercedes would certainly qualify as one, unless Red Bull can find their magic again and show something stunning with their engine project for 2026. It seems a matter of not if, but when Max will hang up his Red Bull boots to suit up in the Mercedes silver. For more exciting updates and insights from the world of Formula 1, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell.